I've been talking about the pronunciation of English, and I want to show you a placemat that I've made. It's not quite finished, but you can get the general idea. It's a placemat of the English alphabet. And let me show you, let me share my screen with you. Oh, that didn't come out very well. Let's see. There we go. The English alphabet. And it looks so simple, but it's very deceptive, because the alphabet does not even begin to actually show you how the language is pronounced. You have I have it in uppercase and lowercase. And the A seems like it's just the A, but it's not. None of the vowels are just the vowels. So you have the A, the E, the I, the O, and the U. And it seems as if, and these are the other letters, and it seems as if that's it. But all of these vowels have more than one pronunciation. Some have 2, 3. Some have to be in combination with other vowels or maybe other consonants in order to be pronounced in a particular way. Then you have the consonants. You have the C, more than one pronunciation. The D doesn't really, but one pronunciation of the D is the silence, that it's silent. And sometimes it's mispronounced with the T and the D. These are all in the minimum pair cards. The G, oh, the F. The F seems rather innocent, but it's not, because there are several ways to make the sound of the F. The F can be made with the PH, the diphthong PH, and it can also be made with the diphthong GH, as in rough, as in tough, as in cough. PH is not hard to find. Philadelphia, Phil, philanthropy. That was hard to say for whatever reason. Philanthropy. Then you have the G. G seems rather innocent looking at it, but the G has 2 sounds. It has the g as in go and get and given, and it has the j as in Jerry, as in gin, as in, let me get one with GE. No, I already did the GE, Jerry. But it's the soft sound. You have the H. The H has 2 sounds. One sound is no sound, as in hour. And the other sound is the sound, as in, excuse me, as in happy, as in Harry. There's a homograph that begins with the H, and it's HERB. And it could either be herb or herb. Now, I think it's a homograph. I should say I think, because one of the spellings is with a uppercase because it's the name of a person, Herb. You know, how you doing, Herb? Okay. And it's HERB, Herb. I knew it, a person, I was gonna say a dude, a person named Herb. And then there's herb, like herb, spices, and that's not pronounced. The H is not pronounced. Then you have the J. The J is rather innocent. but the J sometimes is pronounced like the soft G. So Jerry can be spelled either Gerry, like gerrymandering. That's what they do in American politics. It's a way of unfairly placing people within a district so their votes don't count. And then you have Jerry, Jerry, and that's the name of a person. Okay, then you have the K. The K is deceptive. Well, it's not, but the K can be pronounced either like the hard C. Yeah, it is deceptive. Or it can be silent, as in no, K-N-O-W, not N-O. And there's quite a few words in English in which you have the K-N and the K is silent. Sometimes the K and the C are together, and it just makes the hard sound. It's not k. Stick, for example, or sick. Sick, for example, S-I-C. Now, the S-I-C should be sufficient because that C is the k sound, but you can't write just incorrectly. It would be S-I-C. It's S-I-C-K. Sick. The L can be confusing to people because sometimes the L, especially when it's doubled, the LL is pronounced more like in Spanish than like in English. You have the word stallion, S-T-A-L-L-I-O-N. It's not stallion. That's S-T-A-L-I-N, Stalin. But if you have a double L, because the word comes from Spanish, it's stallion. And it's a L-L, million, another one. M-I-L-L-I-O-N, million. That's once again, it's like in Spanish, millón. The L is pronounced ya, ya. But that's not always true because, for example, you have the word fellow, F-E-L-L-O-W. The L-L is pronounced like the L, just the L. So the L, depending on whether it's doubled or not, if it's doubled, sometimes it's just pronounced like the L that is not doubled, but other times it's pronounced more like the Y, and I think that's because of the Spanish influence. Then you have the M, okay. You have the N, okay. But the N, when it's written, sometimes it's written C-N, G-N, K-N, C-N, G-N, K-N. And although you have those, the C, the G, and the K, they're not pronounced. So that's not tricky. The O has a, oh, I already did the vowels. Then you have the P, no problem. The Q is usually accompanied by the U. Then you have the R. Very rarely in American English do you twirl your R's, an R. But sometimes, depending on the word and depending on the language, the R, and the L, can be confusing. The S, oh my God, the S is extremely confusing because I'm talking about the S sound, not so much the letter S. The S sound can be made by several letters. It can be made by the C. It can be made by the actual S, and it can be made by the Z. Okay. And that's not even talking about soft sounds such as the SH, the ST. These are diphthongs. So the S on its own appears to be just one sound, but it's not that simple. Then there's the T. Then there's the V. The V in English at one time had, and the F, from what I understand about the history of English language, at one time, their sounds were interchangeable. And to this day, when you have the word OF, the F is not pronounced like the F is pronounced like the of. You don't say of. When you want to pronounce, when the F is pronounced, is OFF, off. Also, when you have the F, like in belief, and then you want to change the word to its verb form, belief, that's a noun, then you have the F becomes an FE. Also, when you have leaf, that's one leaf. But if you have 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to make it plural, then it's leaves. And the F becomes the VES. W, no. X has several pronunciations. It depends on, sometimes the pronunciation is like an X, like X-ray. Other times the pronunciation is like an SK, like sax, ax, sax. Y, well, we talked about the Y before because the Y is both a consonant and a vowel. As a consonant, it has ya, and it's usually, but not always, as we saw, as we've seen in cards, not always in the beginning, but normally somewhere in the beginning of the word as a consonant. Then the Z is always pronounced like the Z, unlike the S, it doesn't have other sounds. So that's the alphabet. And of course, if you want to go back to the vowels, the A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, you have to take in consideration long versus short. And if you want to go back to the consonants, almost every consonant can be silent in the word. So it's there, but it's silent. Some much more than others. One example would be the B. The B in many words exists, like in debt, D-E-B-T, but it's not pronounced. The other, and also when people are actually speaking, even though officially it's pronounced, when people are actually speaking, it's not pronounced. So that's the alphabet in English. But if you look at it, it doesn't look like it's so complicated. Where the Spanish alphabet recognizes, not totally, not completely, but much more than the English alphabet, the change in sound. So when I start putting up Spanish cards, we'll see the Spanish alphabet, and we'll look at the difference in spelling and the difference in pronunciation. I mean, it's not complete, but it's much more than the English alphabet. So this is Coralla Ficklin at welcome, WYLCOME, welcome.com. Thank you for visiting my site. Remember, I do English cards, and later on, they're already made, but I'm going to put up Spanish cards, Spanish pronunciation, Spanish verbs, Spanish regular verbs, Spanish irregular verbs, idiomatic expressions, and my favorite, the subjunctive. So I want to thank you for visiting my site. I hope you have learned something, and please share my site. Please subscribe. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.